I'm gonna keep it. I'd like to keep it really informal and just like really talk and bounce ideas. That's my hope. But you guys can just let me know when you want that to change.
From the same speech, and it wasn't very different from the stairs we're sitting outside right now. People start small, so don't feel powerless. Doesn't matter what they say. Martin Luther King kept saying it, and they kept saying no, 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 and look what happened for him. So don't lose hope. Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit and go out into a sometimes hostile world, declaring eternal hostility to poverty, racism, and militarism. These are revolutionary times. Get over it. All over the globe, men are revolting against old systems of exploitation, oppression. Out of the wounds of the frail world, new systems of justice and equality are being born. The shirtless and the barefoot people of the land are rising up as never before. As never before. He wrote this then. Right now. The people who sat in darkness have seen a great light. We in the West must support these revolutions. It's happening all over Earth. We've seen the light. We're supported by all the energies we could possibly be supported by. If there was ever a revolution that was going to succeed, I would have to say now.
Yeah.
By this spring. If we are not where we want to be, we have to start doing these things. The word he used, Dr. Martin Luther King, declaring eternal hostility. This was a peaceful man. With this powerful commitment, we shall boldly challenge the status quo and unjust mores, and thereby speed the day when every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain.
Every valley shall be exalted.
I don't have enough money for your voice.
Every mountain and hill may fall, the crooked straight, and the rough places plain. And the crooked straight, and the rough places plain. And the rock places plain.
Version of Isaiah.
So what do I'm de facto leadership role right now. I have some ideas, but what do people think is the next action? Please.
Okay, sure. I think we've been given a great opportunity here because our camp has been dissolved officially. Now we can start occupying the streets. We can legally sleep on the sidewalk. We can legally do that. We don't need a camp. We can camp everywhere. We can occupy the entirety of Asheville. So we can get more people on the streets. I think that this is going to be like the next step, like actually occupying every financial institution in the city. Have people sleeping out there every morning, and be ready to be your own information booth when people come up and ask you what's your deal, and like that's I think it's a great thing that's going to happen right now. So that's all.
Yeah.
I've got a statement.
Please.
As much as it sounds good to have people in every rank and looking at sleeping on the sidewalk, I think the more practical reality is the fact that this camp is actually coming to completion the 6 o'clock Friday. It's important to have a zero gap presence in some kind of strong residential place like that. So I think the best action a lot of us could do would be to contact as many people that have private land, private buildings like old grocery stores, anything that could house as many people so the camp was not a gap in the presence of the camp, something like that. Go ahead.
I wanted to tap off of several things in terms of, I do strongly think that they expect what we're going to do. I strongly say that we should have direct action. I will tell you that going through the civil rights movement, the peace movement, the fight for black history on college campus, the answer was always similar to tonight, no. We went to direct action. You let them, they then contacted us. Come on back down, we'll talk to you, okay? So I think we need to move forward in full strength, supporting one another with all seriousness, and do the direct action. I do think that there are a lot of things on the plate as far as where we can. We have named some, but I think some people, like my man here, is thinking about going through the winter, and it has been suggested that we take care of the sidewalk. There's a church that have shown some interest in letting us camp there outside, and there have been ideas all the way to we need a hotel. You know, take it. Amen.
Yeah, Wayne and then Jim.
All right, folks. My name's Wayne again. All right. Remind you, Jubilee is willing to let us come back. Okay? I've talked to the guy today. Jubilee is 101% on our side of what we're doing, as long as we vacuum and keep the floor clean. That's all they ask out of us, just to clean up after ourselves when we're done and we leave at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Wayne, clarifying question. Have they said, like, how long that offer stands for? How long we could stay there?
That would be up to the director, church director, whatever he is
Okay.
of that
Okay,
place.
that's the question. Yeah.
So that I do not know, but I can probably get with him and find out exactly how long we can be there.
Is this a question about Jubilee also?
Yeah, just like time-wise, like not duration-wise, like time of day. So you said till 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like when
We'd be able to go in, say like at 9:30 to 8:30.
And do you know if they, and maybe you know, but do you know if they would allow us to use the kitchen? I'm thinking they probably would, because I've done homeless
That I
shelters,
do not
things
know,
there.
because
I'm thinking-
all I'm suggesting to them is just a place to camp for the night.
They-
People in a safe place with their kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I'm trying to work with them right now again.
So I'm taking a stack here. We have Jim that's on stack. Are these direct questions about Jubilee? No. Okay, so I'm going to come and get your name and okay.
I just wanted
So
to
Jim is next, then Lindsay, then Patty.
So I just wanted to say that we've been sprinting for a while. I know it's
Can you
exhausting.
speak up, please?
We've been sprinting for a while, and there's times in history where you just got to sprint. You got to go all out, dig into the adrenaline. But it's not something you can do forever. I know I'm feeling it in my voice. You might be able to hear it. Because our struggle, this economic crisis has been 30 or 40 years in the making. It's been really bad in the last 4 years, but it's been 30 or 40 years in the making. And one of the things that happens in an occupation is this thing, occupation logic. You have a group of people who are together 24/7 in a state of crisis. You're wondering, where are we going to get our food? Are we going to get arrested? You have this bonding that comes together. Almost, unfortunately, however, like a false honeymoon. And adrenaline comes into play. And the larger question is, how are we going to awaken and help the 99% channel their grievances and keep going? And I have personally found that hard, as I'm wondering, oh, is this person going to get arrested? Oh, how are we going to get food? I'm not going to break up this fight, but it still drains me emotionally to see. So, for me, I think it's fine to do the winter and fall thing in retreat. Go back to places we've been sleeping, and find a way to keep meeting politically. For some people, they need that community, that honeymoon to stay together. But for a lot of us, I think we can find ways to come together every week, twice a week. And just in the last day or two, last night I was on a phone call with 70 cities around the country, kind of a GA, Democratic, and I'm surprised that didn't happen in the last 5 years. That can be the next phase of us building. What is our national conversation? Do we want to come together in Philadelphia next July 4th? So I just wanted to let people know there's options to sprinting, and if we don't have a camp, that's not the end of the world. Thanks.
So let me just make sure I've got everybody I'm sorry. Just make sure I got everybody. So I've got Lindsay, Patty, Zach, Catherine, Ethan, is that right? I'm sorry, and Ryan. Anthony, sorry. Was anybody else wanting to get on stack? If not, so if not, Lindsay. Okay.
I'd like to get on as well. John?
This is just, I think we're just kind of doing an informal circle.
All right, I'll wait. Are you going to have a general assembly, or
Just
This has
a
been
point
very...
of clarification. I mean, we started out this discussion by you asking what's next. That's
what I want to
correct?
speak to.
So I'm wondering, are we just like all coming up with suggestions now, or are we making proposals, or just figuring out
Sounds like you're
strategy?
asking for a little bit of structure, so let's put in a little bit of structure. So I completely agree with you that kind of having a conversation about what's next is a valuable conversation. Is that the one we need to be having?
That's what I was going to talk
Yeah? Is that, what, do people feel like this is where our energy needs to be spent for the next,
So we have Lindsay. Was that what you wanted to say?
I'm not Lindsay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're Lindsay.
That
Do you want to take? Do you want to just let her have?
I do. And then do we want to set a time so we can check back in with each other and see if we're still on topic and having useful conversation? You think we're doing good? Then let's continue. Doing good.
You wanted to?
Yeah. About the direct action, and thinking about what's next. I think that it's good to keep in mind a few things. One, in the Middle East, when the people have risen up, they've been able to initially get the military and the police on their side. We're probably not going to be that lucky as quickly as they were. And in past movements, when they've been successful with bringing more people in with direct action, the two tactics that they've used are to hit the city in their pocketbook, whether that be boycotting, picking up trash, riding the bus, whatever. And the other tactic is to have footage of police brutality, which is broadcast, which gives us sympathy in the public opinion. So as far as our direct action, I think that we need to consider some of the past tactics that have worked for movements and groups, in addition to just camping alone as the primary tactic.
So if folks want to, I'll start taking notes, and that way we kind of keep a record of what we're coming up here, so we don't lose some of the energy.
He has a direct comment. How can we expect?
Hey, Tracy, I'm not keeping stack, so I have no idea what
I just gave it to Eva.
Eva. Hey, Eva, thank you. Who's up?
I wanted to give direct comment to. I wanted to give direct comment to Lindsay's comments.
We're not really. Can you? Do you mind?
I'll table it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we have Patty.
I guess I was thinking about strategy, what comes next, and a general strategy is coming in now. We don't really need to think about the details because we kind of need to just move forward in a general direction right now. So, and what I was thinking, I know there was someone who said maybe we kind of go on, kind of low key for the winter, but what I had visualized was just having an occupied presence. Maybe not as big as now, but maybe having people in shifts so that we maintain a presence. I really think that if you just table it for this winter, it's going to just be really hard to get up and going again. Yeah. And so I really want to see it go through the winter, even if it's not as strong as before or as many people. And it depends on what happens around the country, I think, too, because that obviously energizes everybody. That's what I like to see. And as far as direct action, I think that, what the man said about the other cities, the other larger cities that are really experienced in direct action, like on the West Coast, it would be great to have some of them here to get some ideas about some really creative theater type. You mentioned Marie Antoinette thing, which was really, really a good idea. But some really creative stuff that's going to get in the media. The window washing was wonderful. I thought that was great.
What was the window washing?
It was Merrill Lynch. They were cleaning the windows.
Probably made that.
Yeah.
It did actually.
It was, and we need some in my opinion, some creative things like that, and some strategies. Break into small groups, come up with some ideas for General Assembly. That's it.
I think we are dealing. Even if we prioritize, it would still stay the same. We do need to look at where people will occupy in terms of on the sidewalk and like the federal building, and I would definitely like to see that go throughout the winter. But there is also it's a necessary thing to have a base. And I think maybe we can get propose a working group to look into some of the sites that we have talked about and deal with Jubilee. There's the other church further down by Klingman who have sort of said that they have a lot of land outside, and look at even places inside. At the same time, I do agree. In the winter is when everything goes on. Statistically, most children are conceived when? During the winter months. Because, it's going on. All right? We should be like we really, truly are. We need to keep it going on. There was some reading from Martin Luther King tonight, and one thing that happened, and the reason we're standing here tonight, they thought they squashed the movement. It took them 20 years, but all we did is go in winter. And now here's the spring. Okay? We went in winter, and instead of protesting, because I remember my own personal story, the last year I protested was 1976 in Atlanta, and I stepped up on the sidewalk and said, I'll never do it again. And here I am today, because it went inside. And some of you weren't born, but it was birthed through your mother's womb that you would do this. Okay? And so, it's no stopping now, because we're in mother. And mother says go on in the winter. And in the springtime comes the budding and the light. And I'd like to say we need to establish very strong working groups that can meet, if it's important, every day, once a week, many times during the month, and bond. That's all we're going to do is bond in the cold. There is talk about more connections with cities and groups around the country. That's how we're going to make it through. And we are not afraid. They are the ones who are afraid. If they hadn't been afraid, they would have not spent billions on the underground cities. Thank you very much.
Catherine? I was just going to mention that in addition to Jubilee and the church, there's also the downtown market, which has a lot of space in the back, and I wonder if it would be, it's pretty interesting to occupy a market. And also I just wanted to ask if there's a working group in play that works specifically with local government. Is there, because it sounded to me like the councilman was asking for us to creatively problem solve a solution that he could bring, and we could bring public support about a direct proposal, and I would love to be involved in that. And I don't know if there's already a group that's working towards that, so that at the next city council meeting we have a really well thought out and unique potentially and a little bit out there solution, which is what they were kind of tasking us, I think, to do in addition to direct action. So I just didn't know if someone could answer if there's a local City of Asheville work group that is coming together to really maybe occupy all of these different meetings and be present and be a voice. And I would like to propose that group, if it doesn't exist, form.
I think that comes under outreach.
Oh, I think it's separate.
Outreach everywhere.
So you're saying a working group that would look into site, or?
No, working group to work into.
He'll come and talk to you about it.
Well, it's hard to do two things at once.
A working group to work specifically locally with Asheville, or with the city, with the city, attend the meetings, occupy the meetings, and actually create, with a legal team working with our rules specific to Asheville, really creative solutions.
You just saying City of Asheville, or are you talking about all local governments?
Well, I mean, for us, I think we would work in this space, but I think we could be informed by all local government. I mean, could we be informed by what they're doing in San Francisco or?
Well, we have levels of governance right here that we can work with. That's why I'm bringing it
What
out.
are the levels?
You have Buncombe County Commissioners,
Right.
as well as the City of Asheville. You also have the Land to Sky Regional Council. Most people don't even know about that, but that's a central organization of government which represents all local elected officials at the state level, which is right here in Asheville as well.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Never again can we afford to live with the narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea. It is unfortunate that demonstrations are taking place, but it is in Birmingham, but it is even more unfortunate that, in any nonviolent campaign, there are 4 basic steps. Collection of the facts to determine whether injustices exist. We've done this for a lifetime. We know what's wrong with the system. Negotiation. We're on our way. Self-purification. This is the next step. Self-purification during the winter is our next step. A serious medicine, like he said, start making love to your women, start purifying yourself, or mad, start doing it, or whatever, But really, you know, if you can't camp out every night, purify yourself. Sit and meditate. Do some breathing. Do some exercise. Do some yoga. Purify yourself. Start eating right. This winter time is meant for you to go inside and to work yourself into the right spot, so that when spring comes, we have the roots to shoot. And direct action.
I just want to interject. Remember what we're on topic with. Remember what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is
That's definitely.
this is what next. Self-purification is next.
Right on. And can I? Are you done?
For unity.
Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and foster such a tension that a community which has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. It seeks so to dramatize the issue that it can no longer be ignored. By citing the creation of tension as part of the work of nonviolent resistor may sound rather shocking, but I must confess that I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive, nonviolent tension which is necessary for growth. Just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, so must we see the need for nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. The purpose of our direct action program is to create a situation so crisis-packed that it will inevitably open the door to negotiation. I therefore concur with you in your call for negotiation. Too long has our beloved Earth been bogged down in a tragic effort to live in monologue rather than dialogue. We saw this today in the court. Okay? Just two tiny little things. We know through painful experience, truly painful experience, that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. My friends, I must say to you that we have not made a single gain in civil rights without determined legal and nonviolent pressure. Lamentably, it is a historical fact that privileged groups seldom give up their privileges voluntarily. Individuals may see the moral light and voluntarily give up their unjust posture, but as Reinhold Niebuhr has reminded us, groups tend to be more immoral than individuals. Last part. One may well ask, how can you advocate breaking some laws and obeying others? The answer lies in the fact that there are two types of laws, just and unjust. I would be the first to advocate obeying just laws. One has not only a legal, but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. I would agree with St. Augustine that an unjust law is no law at all.
What is that from?
Prove that. Letter from Birmingham.
You know who he wrote it to.
The preacher.
The preacher.
Yeah,
corporate
the white
churches. Do you
Yeah,
hear me?
that's exactly
Billy Graham.
I know.
That's why he ain't dead, because he didn't answer. Amen.
Yeah. I want to step out of facilitation and just say something. I think this is sort of in the role of facilitation, but I just wanted to be technically accurate and do this. It seems like one of the big things we're missing is point people, essentially.
What?
It's point people. It's the working groups are what aren't working right now as much as they need to be. And I think one of the reasons why not all the working groups are working that well is because we don't have a really good structure in place for, if you want to get in touch, here's the website, here's, basically we need a person who you can make a phone call or an email to, post it on the website, regular meeting times set up on the website. We all know all this. But I think the reason why it's not happening, because trust me, numerous people have proposed this and tried to get it done, and it hasn't gotten done. I know 2 people who took it on as their personal project, and it hasn't gotten done. And I think the reason is we don't know who to corral and be like, how, we gotta do this. You have a working group, and the response is kind of like, well, yeah, we have some people. I'm not really the leader, because none of us are the leader. And I think we need to just let that crumble, just crumble. This whole leaderless idea. I think we're disempowering ourselves with this idea. I'd like to, I'd like to just propose that every single working group has a point person, and if you have to give up that role, you give it to somebody else. There are no ambiguous working groups which exist in a vacuum. Fuck that. We're trying to get things done.
Okay, Mr.
That's it.
Facilitate. Yes.
Yeah.
That went a little long.
I did. I went so long. I took on Anthony.
We got a lot of people on the set.
How many people, let me ask how many people do we have on staff right now?
We have 4, and I don't think
4
I
people
have
on
you.
staff, and it's 9:30. How long do folks want to go?
10:01.
So we're going to go to 10:01. You didn't want to get time?
All we have is time.
I supposed to go through last night.
So it's 9:34. We're going to go to, is there agreement to go to 10:01?
Oh, at least 10:01.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just show it till we're done.
So we're done.
Okay, so we'll go until we're done.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
Resolution is not finished by quarter
I'm
past.
the point person for the Facebook working group. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means I facilitate a database on Facebook with a collection of over 1,000 people who wanted to participate in a movement that weren't added. And I put pages up because I can't get out of my house very much, so I do what I can. I work for the internet for everything it's worth. I
So what are
research.
those Facebook pages?
The Facebook pages that I represent is Occupy Asheville Information Info.
Okay.
And the profile Occupy Asheville. They were created by a group of me and my friends to help facilitate the dispersing of knowledge, not for personal gain or ego. So one of our big missions is ego bashing. So we're not well liked a lot, because there's a lot of ego in this town. There's a lot of soapbox in this town. We have a really big soapbox site.
Yeah.
I would like to see us move forward with stopping actions that don't help the purpose. Stopping actions that don't do anything. Action. Like having large camps of individuals that sit around all day and look bad on us and represent us. Having large groups of people talk online and air our laundry all day long. And bring and defy our consensus as a group not to air our laundry online. I bring this up because this is a matter of my group as being a working group on this certain part of me. Now, I have a major problem with egos, like I said. There is a site, if you Google Occupy Asheville, the number 1 hit is Occupy Wall Street Asheville group, 3,000 plus members. Those 3,000 plus members were added by people. The numbers were grossly inflated by everybody adding everyone they know to make us look big. In my experience as a freedom fighter and as someone who's done actions, if you inflate your numbers bigger than they are, you're going to get top response for that number. They're going to come in looking for 3,500 people, not 200 dedicated hardcore workers. And someone's ego is getting really pumped by this big number. But it's going to be detrimental to the group by airing our laundry there. I ask everybody to stop with the bickering, the arguing, the bitching on Facebook. My friends at Anonymous have offered to shut the site down.
Please.
And I'm bringing it to the group to ask the person that owns it, which is Jen Foster, to shut the site down. And also ask the group to look at us as information and please add us to the .org. If you want, they used to have a Facebook button on the .org. It led to Jen's site. I'd like that to lead to Occupy Asheville Info, because it's not one person represents that. There's a group of us that work 24 hours a day answering questions. We have live chat so the wall doesn't get, corroded with a bunch of information that isn't real.
Amen.
And we need to get real information out to people in a form they understand. The .org is great, but it's just now evolving into something useful. People know how to use Facebook. That's why on the 7th of September, I created Occupy Asheville because I follow Anonymous. And they said to do this in your areas. Create a group. Start stockpiling and creating a database where you can put out information. I put out 1,000 electronic flyers for this event tonight. To everybody that wants to be involved with Occupy Asheville, asked me to be a part of that profile, of that person, Occupy Asheville. So I was able to turn around and email everybody, and invite them to this event. That's how it's useful. I'm sorry, that's just, moving forward, I also am a staunch supporter of the wall of the kids at the federal building that are camping. It's coming out of a couple of our pockets, the support of them. I'm ashamed to say I'm a member of this group because a lot of money and a lot of energy have been filed down to a camp that I haven't seen any productivity out of. The marches stopped.
Public denouncement right now.
No,
This is private denouncement. Thank you.
This is just me stating, where moving forward. Is that we need to move forward with my last part is I wanted to pass the hat around, if that's all right with everybody, because the kids at the Fed still need stuff and they're not getting it. And me and Dave are stretched to our limits trying to do it. We have to have a small amount of food, now, but they need other things. All right, we need another outreach table. We need walkie-talkies that actually work.
We need yoga mats.
And we desperately need yoga mats because you're sleeping on concrete. And all this healing that's going on, there's going to be a lot more once the concrete gets really cold and people are sleeping on it. So, moving forward, these are the things, if we're going to occupy. Instead of, when we started this movement in Nashville, it was about support for New York, and us sending support to New York. There was a lot of talk of that on the net. Now there's none.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. And I apologize. I've been a bad example of keeping it together. So I'm going to rein in the informality just a little. So
yeah, I apologize. I don't get here very often. I don't have the opportunities that everybody does to get down here. So I just wanted to say what I had to say.
Yeah, cool. And if you want to pass the hat, feel free.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah,
what if you have some of those supplies but not money? Is there a place easily just bring it
Yeah,
down
there's a table set up every day at Pritchard Park.
Okay.
It's an outreach table. The kids at the federal building run it.
Okay.
And they're out there working every day.
Like what, 9 to 4?
Yeah, 9 to 4 every day. We'd like to spend those hours, but we don't have the manpower. We also have to guard our camp, like everybody else and whatnot. So, yes, there's
supplies or even time.
Yeah, time would be great, man. Familiar, happy faces up there, because a lot of people walk through that park. And a lot of people see that table up, and we don't want our outreach to get burned out. So,
I appreciate all that.
Okay, cool. We just do what we can.
Okay. Raptor has
I just have a few suggestions about moving forward, what's next. Like my brother on my left here said, meditation, regular centering, just you could personally do silent alone time. We can't just always be around people wrapping up their energy. You've got to cultivate your own energy by yourself at silent time. And then when that happens enough, cultivated enough, then when we come out, the Pritchard Park or wherever, we need people to take photos of our good vibes and our happiness, and that's part of our publicity. Respectful sovereignty, that's my personal philosophy in life, that I'm a free sovereign under the Almighty, the Infinite, but with respect. So I'm free to do whatever I want, but I'm only going to do things that are within the golden rule of respecting each person's equality with me. The other thing I wanted to mention was I'm working on a reggae song in support of Occupy, and some of the lyrics so far are, I don't have a melody yet, but the lyrics so far are, Babylon, you can't continue sucking the blood of the people. The jig is up. We're calling your bluff. Another part, it goes, all my people, occupy your land. All my people, occupy your life. Thank you.
Cool.
John?
Yeah. And again, so let's keep working towards concrete proposals. Remember, we're compiling a list right now. Sorry, I'm reining it in just the way it's at.
Okay, I forgot your name, I'm sorry. What Lindsay had said earlier about, I'm John. What Lindsay had said earlier about, like, an information group, that was one of the things we touched base on, I believe. Well, I have written down tactical information group. Maybe, like, we have a group of people that study tactics of past revolutions or activists. I'm not sure of the word, sorry, I'm a little...
Activism.
Yeah, like...
Successful revolution.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? I can get it down. I'm sorry.
Put down tactical
We can tell you the mistakes,
information
too.
group.
That's a great idea.
Another thing that I had written down was I'm going to donate, and it's very useful. It's called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And it can apply to non-violent situations because he was the master of guerrilla warfare. I don't care what anyone says.
And he also said to try and avoid doing the violence, do whatever you can before you have to use the violence.
Another thing to touch base on, one thing that you said as well was the theater mention. I saw this picture and it was very profound. It was a really awesome demonstration of a group of people who were kneeling on the ground with hoods over their head and their hands behind their back.
Guantanamo.
Yes, the Guantanamo protest. I thought that would be an amazing thing to do, maybe in front of a bank or in front of like like an outward theater group presentation of that sort. That's all I have.
Do we have a theater working group? Like, I know it's about making.
I think that should be a good idea.
I just have one quick interject. Are you willing to bottom line the research on past tactics?
Actually, I'm willing to bottom line the security tactics. Like,
What?
Yes.
There exists a nonviolent direct action working group, and we have many knowledgeable people on a lot of these very useful 198 methods of direct action that are worked. And so there are people already working, and we would welcome you, and we would welcome any energy that could add to that. It's a creative group. It's been meeting regularly. If you would like to be on the list, we'll again add your name. It's quite welcome.
Okay, and again, so the what would be? Anyway, we need that information posted centrally. We all agree to that, so that needs to happen.
Yes,
so
it goes under the working group nonviolence.
Okay, there's contact info. Perfect, and it's on the.
OccupyNashville.org. Yes.
Okay. And is it on the? Is it posted on the calendar?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
They will be. The next meeting will be, but they're either posted on Facebook. Is it my turn? If it's not my turn.
No, it's not your turn.
Nathan's turn. You're next, sir. Nathan.
All right, as for concrete proposals, I think we should have less camping in the agenda, more camping in the announcement. We are camping here. You may join us if you want to. I feel that we should have more working groups integrated into the General Assembly and more regular working group meetings and the posting of that. And yes, the leadership involved in working groups. Somebody stepping up, taking initiative, and then passing that along when they need to. Rotation is ideal. We do not want to have all-powerful leaders. That's what we're about. But I do feel that somebody needs to be in leadership at some point at all times. Thank you.
Great.
Claire? So, I had a lot of things that occurred to me, and one of them is when we talk about direct action, I'd like to preface it by calling it peaceful, forceful, applied nonviolence that can be very powerful. And I think many of us haven't even examined the many ways. And young man, what is your name again? John is right on to say we need to be tactical and strategic about this, and we need to learn about what's worked in the past. There's a lot of wisdom in this group, so we're calling you forward. We continue to call you forward. And yet we can sit down and have circles that do just that. Start sharing what good creative ideas. Another thing, I have a problem. The problem I have with being a woman of 62, almost 63 years, my bones creak a little bit. I'm not going to lay down on the sidewalk on the cold concrete at the federal building. But that does not mean I am not. No, excuse me, no. Let the others rant, give me
Greg.
Don't find me down, because I'll watch you up.
Go ahead. Go, Greg, Claire.
Yes, all with violence, because violence runs through us all. And we can talk about tactical nonviolence, because believe me, folks, that's what's going to move us forward. All right? All right. So I can't lay on that ground for federal bill. I choose not to. I could do it. But, I mean, I've laid on many a ground before. But let me tell you, when you choose a tactical group that says this is what Occupy Asheville is, you know, you're flexing your muscles, you're tough. Occupy Asheville must be many things. And it must allow a woman in a wheelchair to participate in an edgy action that might risk arrest. We have to think more broadly than this I don't know what to call it. And I'm hearing a lot of, if the police fuck me up, I'm going to fuck them up. In other words, I've heard that in many other words around here. And that's essentially what folks are saying. Well, I'm very nervous about going and sitting among a group of people that's their first reaction to police pushing. If we don't start working together and figure out how to respond to violence with nonviolence, we're going to fall into trouble. And I'm not talking about personal self-defense. I'm talking about tactical nonviolence. And I'm saying we need every good mind that's here, and creative methods of nonviolence are myriad. And the children in Birmingham, Alabama walked out and faced fire hoses. No, this is not the civil rights movement, but we're called on to be as courageous. And that doesn't mean just merely laying on the sidewalk in front of the federal building. And I am glad, I hope you ring the federal building, and I hope that action rises up and inspires people to do other things. But that is not the only action available to us. And it won't get grandpa in there, it won't get the elderly, it won't get the infirm, it won't get the children in there. We need actions that call us all to forward and step over many lines.
Woo!
Awesome.
People united will never be defeated.
Stick together, people.
Yes,
Don't make him step.
So well said. I would like to preface that by saying, you know, we do have to stop spanking each other. Yeah. When I think about spanking anybody, I look at me, and I can't do it because I got so much. You know what I'm saying? And I was taught in ministry school to always use we and us. We and us. Right. We and us. Because when you start that you stuff and they and them, it pushes. So come on. I have to find a way, even when I see inconsistencies, to go over and draw you in out of that inconsistency, out of that ugly behavior. And we're all, I'm sorry, we're all ministers, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, human beings.
I think we've talked about information barriers. And we can internet and computerize and all that stuff, and Facebook, I don't do it. We got to deal with the human problem, okay? And the civil rights movement had a Johnny Barber who wrote Dr. King's speeches, and whatever they asked Dr. Barber, he knew just like that. The movement in Europe with the GIs, when I was there, Karen Bixler, she knew it all. She knew what was happening. And I tell you, what needs to evolve, and I have spotted some folks. You know, I can ask K-Vaughn anything about any working group. He got that information. The Black Panthers had ministers of information, and they knew it. And we sort of need somebody like that, you know, who can sort of be familiar with half of all the working groups. Oh, well, this is the person you go to. And the other thing that would help, the hippies, when they came to Atlanta, they had a house. Right there on Ninth and Fifth. Too deep. And you know what? You could go in there, you could find a place to stay, you could find food, they would tell you which big mansion there in Midtown to take over, and what have you. We need a place. Now we got a place. And it's in, he said it is in Pritchard Park. And David got all kind of information in that head of his. If somebody would talk to me, I got a mind to rent a big old house in Asheville, because I'm doing a program and I've been blessed with it. And if you get with me, how many rooms we need? 2 or 3. Okay? Is that hint large enough? No. So let's talk about it. I find it hard to find big places with some of you. You know how to do that, and you get on the internet and Craigslist. So I'm opening it up. Those of us who have the resources, but I'd like to, by December 1st or November 15th, talk to me. You might talk to me. Amen. Thank you.
Kimberly. Hi, I'm Kimberly. So I help organize this trading system, Asheville Less, and I am going to do, it's a way for people to share resources without using money, so a way for us to boycott money, pretty much. I'm going to do an orientation for it Sunday at 6 o'clock after the General Assembly in Pritchard Park. So if you're interested, want to learn more, it takes about an hour. We can talk more about it there, but that's something that's been up and running for over 4 years now. There's over 400 people in it. Possible alternative to money. And I also really resonate with what Ryan was saying about the working groups becoming more active and having some kind of leadership. And an idea that keeps running through my head is maybe like having like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday be days where we don't have GAs, but at the time where GAs are, working groups are meeting, around town, and so that can really be revitalized. I just feel like the 2-hour meeting every night with the GA is maybe holding us back a little from putting all we can into our working groups. So that's
Here. We need time for our working groups to work. No, for real.
Kimberly, I'm sorry, I'm probably breaking protocol. How do we let you know we want to be
you can come to the orientation. You can get a pamphlet from me. The website is on the back of it. It's ashevilleless.org, and it always has when the next orientation is. That's the way that you can sign up to be a member.
I want to add something. That's an awesome program, by the way. I'm a member of that program.
Yeah, and 6
needs a
p.m.
little more information. It's an awesome program.
Thanks. Yeah, 6 p.m. on Sunday. I'll do an orientation at Pritchard Park, so anyone that wants to do it.
Is that on our calendar on the website?
I'll put it on there. Yeah.
My name is Matt Bird. I am sort of spearheading a working group, and there's been a fair amount of feedback online over the last couple of days, so I think that when we have a bigger General Assembly, we'll have a meeting time established for anybody who wants to join that. That's the Solutions Working Group. Was the demand, now it's Solutions.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to be here until the police decide to arrest me for trespassing tonight. I would invite anybody to join me. I don't plan on resisting arrest, but I think now is one of those times for creative nonviolence and actual action in direct response to the way City Council refused to even bring opening the park to a vote.
Yeah, but support. Awesome.
I'm looking for support right now. So, if anyone would like to join me, I would love the support. But I already called my boss and let him know I'm not going to be in the morning. He's pretty cool about it. So.
clarify, that's at 10 o'clock, right?
That's 10 o'clock is when park becomes closed, and that's when they're going to ask us to disassemble it.
That's in 2 minutes.
That's in 2
Maybe
minutes.
lunch.
Is this a sidewalk technically?
Yes. No, this is still the park.
This is still the park. It depends.
Yeah.
Sidewalks are considered.
You'll find some loopholes in some of these parks.
It might need anything in
You know, and if police do come really fast, if police do come while we're having this and ask us to leave, if some of you choose to leave and that's when I get arrested, I'll consider it you being in support of me. So that would be cool. You being in, like, support. Yeah, support.
Unsupportive or
no,
supportive?
in support of me or
In
anybody.
support. Okay,
Yes,
because
not-
I
not
have kids to get to. I'm sorry,
like,
Matt.
yeah, you
I'd
guys
love
can all
to.
leave. It'd be great if somebody was here when,
Could I make a suggestion that
Sure.
those who are willing to take a little bit of risk could stand in the middle with him, and others who need to move when they're ordered to leave could step back?
Yeah.
The women in black did this beautifully, holding the place in Asheville downtown when they said you could not stand there. And they marched 100 strong and stood there. And when they were asked to leave, 10 had agreed to stay, and the rest stood back and watched and followed those 10 to the jail. I mean, there are ways of beautifully holding this space. We're strong enough.
Those are the bells, by the way.
Can I ask what are some ways that we could support Matt, like going to the jail, or like how long are they going to hold him? But can we know some other ways besides getting arrested alongside with Matt that we could support him and be there when he gets out, or help with bond, or you know?
So, there won't be any bond. I'll be released in the morning for just trespassing charge. Just so everyone knows that if like, the only thing that they would possibly arrest any of us for staying here tonight is trespassing, which is a class 2 misdemeanor. And the only reason that we're going to be in the jail overnight is because the magistrate is off.
What time do you get out in the morning then, you think?
Probably 9 the latest.
And they might ignore you entirely.
Yes,
It's
they.
an experiment in asserting First Amendment rights.
I slept in the Merrill Lynch building last night. Me too. We slept right up there at the top of the park. All 3 people last night. Cops did not come at all.
Right.
And we actually found a couple loopholes in this town. Well, actually, I was thinking, I came up with an idea. I think you're with me to come up with this idea. The roundabout. Somebody sit in the middle of the roundabout. Dude,
Yeah, right.
middle of traffic. I'd be crazy enough to do it.
It would be great to go down, read some oration.
I think the message from the federal building, our message was, we wanted people to, not only just to go down to Lexington, is to occupy everywhere. It's to spread out and go wherever you can and legally be there. That's the reason why we're legally at federal courthouse. We went to actually the college today and we handed out flyers and they pretty much stand the law of legally sleeping on the sidewalk and legally sleeping in places. And I think our message is, like, you need to legally sleep wherever you can, wherever you think will make a message to corporations. Just go out and be creative.
And I have a clarifying question, sorry. When you said you'd like support, do you have a vision of what that support looks like?
Sure. If anybody else wants to stand their ground and stay here and demand that they open up the parks 24 hours, that's what I plan on doing. So that would be like the most direct support you can give me, is do it with me. Other ways of supporting would be act as a legal observer, or simply be here and then abide by the police when they ask you to leave, and acknowledge that somebody is not going to leave.
I propose that we have media on that. Yeah,
They're right there.
Yeah, I plan on knocking on their window when the police come again.
And they may never come.
They might choose to ignore us tonight.
I think they're kind of weird.
I won't be arrested, but I will stand with you until they ask me to leave.
I'm sleeping here tonight, so.
That's good.
Awesome.
Harlan is next on staff.
All right. So I think we all agree that there needs to be more action, and in order to do that, we need more time to plan action together. And so So I love the idea of having fewer GAs and having working group meetings, or also if people are concerned about people not showing up for working group times or want to look at a different model, we could incorporate working group breakout times during the general assembly. They should do announcements, everybody goes to the working group for 20 or so minutes, comes back, and we continue with general assembly. So there are a lot of ways we can do that, but it is urgent that we work and we start action. As far as coming up with different tactics and creative direct action, we do have a direct action working group. However, we should also start forming affinity groups for people who want to work on specific projects, for people who have specific goals. So let's start talking about that. Let's start forming those. I know we all have a lot of ideas, and if we work together in smaller groups, we can make that happen without having to ask permission for every single detail, and then we can come back and say, this is what we're going to do, and do it. So let's start working. Another thing is that we don't always know when people are meeting, and it's hard to do it just online. I was just up in New York, and they have a big old chalkboard that has a calendar of meetings. We could do something like that. It wouldn't be very difficult. We could put it in the information booth during the day. We could bring it to the day at night. We can carry it around with us all the time. Chalkboard. We can work on that. And so I think we've got a lot of energy right now, and this is the time to get these ideas going. Form affinity groups. Let's make it happen.
Awesome. And
Mark, yes, that's something you can tell Mark next. Mark.
He's here.
Well, actually I have more questions than anything, but one thing that occurs to me in moving forward, and I thought I'd share this with you tonight, is I've been involved with nonprofit work over the years, and a really effective book, a really useful book, is called Good to Great by Tim Collins. It started out as a Stanford University study of organizations that were good.
Hate to interrupt, but here comes our moment.
Here they come.
Let them interrupt. Keep going, man.
There's a companion to this for the nonprofit sector. And what it does is measures metrics of success of different elements within an organization so that you can seriously take a look at how your leadership is functioning. For example, if you're talking about going from this lateral, nobody's a leader, to the point people, what is it about that point person that's going to be in this body of material that's called a level 5 lead? I don't want to try to tell you the whole book right now. It's called Good to Great, how good organizations became great, and good organizations that didn't become great that actually declined. It looks at this as a 10-year study. It puts all this together. And one of those elements that I think something like this could really gain from. One question I had tonight is, when I was in the city council meeting, I was aware that they didn't want to establish precedents so that other groups could come in and say, well, you let Occupy Asheville do this, so you have to let us do it. And that's the reason why they want to keep the rules kind of the way they are, because they know that they can keep a handle on stuff like that. What is it about this group that makes it different from some sort of political action committee or Ku Klux Klan or something like that? And Clarence said there's someone here that may be able to answer that question. That was one question I had walking into this tonight. Because I know one of the key elements that an organization can do is take what's unique about yourselves and make it readily identifiable. And what is it about these other organizations that make stuff all the same compared to what you want. And that's an element that I just wanted to bring forward as far as moving forward to share with you.
Johnny, go ahead.
Well, either one.
You want to answer to that?
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and answer it?
Please.
Yeah, I don't want to. Okay, what makes this different? This is not an organization.
Exactly.
This is the people who have spontaneously decided to come together to address the common problems that we all recognize. And to try to come up with solutions in creative, thoughtful, intelligent ways to go the distance to deal with it as long as it takes, as hard as it might be, for whatever it might be to get there. And the idea of Occupy is a large part of it is to maintain a presence, to make a stand in a place and say, if you want to interact, if you want to be a part of this, come and we will interact with you. General assemblies are open to anyone to participate. You don't have to be a member. There's no membership requirement. There's only a group of general agreements of how we operate. Everyone here operating together, whether in the General Assembly or camp or any actions that we take. That's not a membership. No membership list. There's no membership dues. There's none of the things that you have in other groups, organizations. And dealing with it as if we are a group. We are not a group. We are the people.
Do you mind if I respond real fast? That doesn't really address the city council concerns. How does the public differentiate that from any other individual who decides that they want to, take the park or whatever? And that's what city council refused to do today. They refused to acknowledge that we are not asking them to make an exception for us, but to change their system so that the public can have a public forum.
Right.
And a continuous public forum. And that's what they refuse to acknowledge. And that's why I'm going to stay here. And that's all. Go ahead, Kayvon.
Okay.
Oh, Teddy's actually next, and then you.
It was a response to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm actually done.
Excuse me.
I see what I need to say.
Okay. So.
We were on the agenda for the unfinished business, stating camping, overnight camping. What we really want is our right to assemble and discuss things 24 hours. The idea of camping and setting up tents, the usage of the park should be up to the people. What we really need to push is that we can be in the parks as long as we want for our discussion. Now, there's two other things. We talked about outreach. Lexington was a place of outreach. David's Table, Richard Park is outreach. The next week, we should strive to have at least 10 tables around town. And I'm going to work on getting more tables, but we need bodies. And the last thing is, I'm going to be joining Matthew tonight. And I have a camera. Any legal observers that would like a camera, well, we need as many as possible, I think. Should utilize this as well and take care of it overnight. Probably right now.
You got a camera, Bar?
Okay, if you want to use the camera. Is there a book first and
Do we need somebody to take notes? Or
So before we go, can I just say we have a lot of different kinds of ideas. I just want whoever are the point people for the committees. I'm going to try to divide up these
so
notes
we
by working
making notes
groups
of this.
and pass these on to
going on.
working groups. So I'm just
It is.
there are
I have to
point
check.
people here for the working groups, but you all
I know.
take these ideas and try to
10, 12.
integrate them into your discussion. I'm going to take the ideas about how we can use the General Assembly and integrate the working groups into the General Assembly a little bit more, or have working group meetings instead of General Assembly. I'm going to take that back to the facilitation group because we've been talking about this, so I just want to say that before we all get dispersed, is that we don't lose the energy and the thoughtfulness and the creativity that's happening. Anyway.
Well,
We have a legal observer here. Right now, we're nonviolent.
Can I say something real quick? Another
I need
way
somebody taking notes.
ask is to go over their head. Technically, this is what Naomi was starting. You ask not for the sergeant, you ask for the tower sergeant who stays in the police building all night. When he comes out here, he gets very irritated because He wants to stay in that building all night. He doesn't want to come out and deal with it. And you ask for it as many times as possible, every time, and they will stop messing with it. You go over their heads. If you can't get what you want down here, you go to the people up until you get to the top.
Go breaking their chain of command.
And then eventually you get to the chief of police.
Yeah.
Then eventually you go up.
And
we shall not be moved.
In a situation where we pass 10 o'clock.
Shall not be moved.
Direct action is going on.
Is there anybody, since we have not had any warnings and news after 10 o'clock, is there anybody who'd like to go down Lexington Avenue and maybe bring a tent? I don't think we need or bags, anything. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm cool with staying here in my jacket all night.
Do you want me to go get something for you? I'll be happy to blanket.
Well, I mean, I left my stuff expecting that I wouldn't need my stuff.
Okay.
But if I can sleep here all night without getting any harassment from the police, I'm alright with that.
You have a bag down there?
My bag is in my car, but I could potentially get a very trustworthy person.
So at 10:12, patrol truck number 61 showed up with 2 officers inside. They have yet to step out of the vehicle. Since I can't take notes, I'll just have to dictate it to this camera.
Doing that, Coleman just called and was wanting an update. Sends love to everybody and thanks everybody.
So, you know,
So is
nobody's
that something I should do
been
now?
warned, and you all
If you
are
can get my
occupying
bag.
for the
Because I have a car right
purpose
across the
of
street
asserting your
there.
First Amendment right to free speech
Exactly.
and assembly. So, you know, holding together in your circle and asserting your right to meet as citizens or non-citizens, but as residents. I mean, hold strong and make your decision when you get a warning.
It's just the curfew.
And you know what's cool is like sometimes like having these conversations is amazing. Like just talking about the need for more direct action and Matt stepping up as the lead. Yeah, I mean it's just like it's cool. Like yeah, that's spontaneity.
Garland County property for that.
So you got all the components. He's got a support group. He's got legal observers. He's figured out what the consequences might be. He knows the law.
You are the legal observer.
Well, there's one trained right here, and one trained right here, and one trained right here, and one trained right here.
So one of you guys is supposed to step back from the direct action and observe.
Well, it's not direct action right now.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it is. It's after 10 o'clock. We are in defiance of the county ordinance.
Until they ask you to leave, it's really nothing.
This is just ignorance right now. It's not direct action.
Okay, yeah, that's what I didn't understand.
Are you already home? I was curious to come by before this area.
Burr. So, let's do uh-oh. Somebody's bike. Just a bike. I didn't want to. Yeah. Sprinklers. They turned the sprinklers on us.
The dispersal mechanism?
Yeah. I think the GA has ended, and now we're into helping Matthew with his direct action, possible action, where he's going to camp out. Cold. Sprinklers have been turned on.
Thank you very much.
Hey, yeah, man. You've been doing. You too, bro. It's good to see you finally.
Yeah. I only come out when I have to.
Yeah, right on. Just when you have to, get straight.
sometimes a good kick in the pants is the best motivator there is.
He's right. You're right.
All right, our area looks pretty cleaned up.
Oh, yeah.
I took the extra sign.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really cool sign.
Yeah, it is. She left it behind her.
You want? I guess this was left behind. Does anybody own this sign? You want? Can you take this back down to camp? It's a nice sign, man.
This is not ours.
What?
This ain't one of ours.
Well, I know. Someone left it behind.
I'm taking it to the Fed building because all we're going to do is just repaint over it and make
Cool,
something
man.
else.
It's a really nice sign. It'll work for that. Money talks, 99% walk.
Because our sign's are way more direct than this.
Well, direct it. Acquisition is the first rule of supply.
Well, they know.
So I got one truck hanging out still. We do have a second squad car arriving. See if we can get their squad car number and squad car sergeant, squad car number 32, arriving at 10:20 p.m. We've got 2 officers on foot approaching. We have 1, 2, 7, 8. We have 25 people here just sitting around. We're fixing to be approached by the police.
Sorry, guys.
See ya. See ya, man. I'll see you online.
Stand strong, bro.
Oh, yeah. I'll try to hang tight.
Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Lord,
Who?
Lord. You've been doing it.
The big live stream? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the channel name.
Okay,
Lord,
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Terry, okay. Jonas, nice to meet you finally. I'll talk to you online. All right, see ya. We shall not be. Uh-oh. Also, make a note that news channel ABC 13 is hanging out. And he's coming over, of course, because he thinks something's gonna happen. Not be moved. Constitution, we shall not be moved. Standing by the water, we shall not be moved. Dang straight. We shall not be moved. First Amendment rights, we shall not be moved. Standing by the water, we shall not be moved.
Nothing but in the moment.
This is our choice.
Standing as long as you can, folks. Shows your power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll create something.
So we've got our 4 officers have all stepped out of their vehicles with the sergeant, and it seems they're talking, and the 2 on foot. And it's fine, they're talking about what they're going to do. I imagine they're going to approach us. I like how the news guy decides that he gets to talk to them first so he can get his special story. Just great.
All right, you were here, what, week before last, I guess? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, kind of same rules in play as was that night. 10 o'clock, everything's closed down. It seems to be 4 now, so we're going to ask you guys to come and move on back here to the way.
Kind of to express my First Amendment rights, stay in public property.
Okay. So even though we're telling you that it's past 10 o'clock and this property is no longer public,
what was that statute?
What was that again? 159, Leslie.
Yeah, 14-159.
Is that override?
So what one is it?
14-159.
Okay, and that is a statute that deals with trespassing.
What?
So
All right.
this is public property. I'm the owner of
But
this property.
it's closed for its day-to-day business.
Just like City Park's open till 10 o'clock.
Have you read that statute?
Yeah, we can go.
See you.
Did enter or remain on property of another after being asked not to enter or remain there by an authorized agent or a
Okay. Who authorized you?
City of Asheville.
Who pays the City of Asheville?
We do.
Yes,
the people.
we the people. So
Under protection of the Constitution.
personally, I don't think that law stands.
So it's
For
my
this-
understanding that you're refusing our request for you to leave the premises at this point?
That is correct.
And,
With you shortly.
and you're speaking with one
Yes,
individual
that is me.
officer, just
Right.
one individual, so
I
you
understand.
would warn each of us separately, wouldn't you?
Well, I think I did that collectively as a
Well,
group.
some
We're
of
all
us don't
standing
hear very well, so I think probably
Absolutely.
just warning each of us separately so we're all clear about what constitutional law is being violated.
Okay, once again, we explained to you what the law was,
Yes, so you're speaking to this one person
p.m.
here. Okay.
and we're asking you to leave the property at this
Okay.
point.
And so after warning, if a person doesn't leave, what is the consequence?
You can be charged with second-degree trespassing.
And what is the likely time in jail for that?
That's up to the magistrate.
So we would spend the
If we
night
could.
waiting on a magistrate, or would we see one
Not
right
necessarily.
away?
You would see a magistrate.
Right
as
away.
well as available, correct.
And if we were
But I'm
indigent,
hoping that we don't get to that. You guys have some really good options, and we can really avoid that for the evening,
right,
you know, and still accomplish what everybody's here to, you know, to do, to speak our piece and express our First Amendment rights.
Well, I appreciated that you didn't move in on us until our meeting had finished. I thought
Yes,
that
that was
showed a
very
great deal of respect for our process and our willingness to assert our First Amendment rights.
Well, in exchange, we
To
would like
assemble.
to see maybe some adherence to our requests as well.
Well, our meeting isn't done.
You had mentioned that we have a lot of great options other than staying here tonight. And I think City Council sort of shot that down tonight. We don't have a camp anymore as of Friday. And so I'm gonna make sure that we have a place to camp by Friday, and I hope that that's
Well, I don't think that we're going to be able to accomplish that this evening. Perhaps during regular business hours we can do that, but after
City Council won't hear me until for another 2 weeks. So 3.
3 weeks.
That's the process that's in place right now.
I understand that, and we need a place by Friday to before you got that. So
There are plenty of places that you can go to, there's hotels and other areas.
I have a
to
room.
stay at.
we have a house. We have home.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great option.
This is about the right to assemble and discuss.
In which you can do that, but it's past 10 o'clock, and it's
So you can't assemble past 10 o'clock.
Do what?
You can't assemble past 10 o'clock.
Not at this location
Is
right
there something in the Constitution?
Again, I'm not trying to make it difficult, okay, for you.
I am.
I know you are. And you're not going to get my goat, I'll promise you that.
Okay.
Okay? But we will bring this to an end tonight, hopefully by means of you guys going back to your camp and picking this up tomorrow. that's a great option for everybody. Our guys can go back to service and do the job that they need to be doing by protecting everybody, to include you guys and everybody else in the city, instead of having to stand here and fight about this on the steps of City Hall. Whatever the truth of the matter is, we can't fix it right now. Yeah, you can't. Put your bad. Not going to happen. Unrealistic.
You could potentially argue on our point. What I was saying earlier about, we public are people who are basically granting you the authority to be the administrator of that law, and you can argue that on our behalf to your superiors.
But it's not up to us to pass a judgment on that law. It's up to us to enforce that law.
But how can you enforce a law that you don't fully understand?
Okay, so are you going to leave or not?
No, I'm not.
Okay, be with you in just a minute.
They have to have a private meeting about that?
If you guys would like, we can take this to where I'm still on the public property, but you are on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And that way, it resolves the situation for everyone in limbo here.
Right. Would you possibly like to put this on tomorrow? There are actually other things that we else right now.
It depends on them, really.
Why don't you just keep? Why don't you just keep hanging out until something happens, like you do? I'm talking to you. Yeah, you just hang out until it happens. I mean, you seem to be doing a good job at it. So hang out.
The city council meeting, and if you want that story on the air, it's got to be edited. You know about editing?
Oh yeah. Well, I know about patience too, and it's too bad that we don't work around your schedule. It's just a shame. It's too bad that your schedule's not going to work out. I'm so sorry.
There's going to be a lot of
That's too bad. Jesus, we can't make the 11 o'clock news. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. I think I'm absurd.
I'm going to stand in close. So I think that going up by the McGuire Green
You got to edit it.
probably gives
Yeah.
a full view or in front of a bar.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to need a drink.
I got to switch cameras. My camera's dying anyways. So just hang tight. Don't freak out. I'm going to switch cameras.
Can you imagine that?
Try to keep streaming. Channel 13 wants us to hurry up, and so they can make the 11 o'clock news. You got to edit it. You know how long it takes to edit. The jerk.
Going to the sidewalk over here next to the gas station. If anyone wants to do it down there, everybody else is staying on the side. This is a memorial for all of us.
Kind of walking somewhere safer. But we probably confused the hell out of them. Well, yeah, I don't know if I'll make it with the live stream because I've got 2 dead cameras, but I'll try. Let me switch up.